We're back at Whiting High School and ready to start tonight's football game, the Battle of 119th Street between the Clark Pioneers and the Whiting Oilers at beautiful Ray P. Galvin Field. John?
Yeah, can't beat this facility. Boy, what a pleasure it is to come up here, and everything is first class. I don't think there's a single A school in the state that'll have a better facility than Whiting High School.
Whiting will receive to start the football game. The Pioneers with a slow squib kick taken by the Oilers at the 21-yard line to the 30 and stopped right there at the 30-yard line. That's where the Whiting offense will come out onto the football field. It was Rob Velez, number 31 on the return. Velez takes it to the 30-yard line, and the Oiler offense will come on the football field. First and 10 Whiting. I'll show you their offense after this play. Kevin Rigg is the quarterback. 5'10", 180, and a junior. We've got an official's timeout. Not a clock problem yet. Well, now it is a 25-second clock problem. One and 7 Clark and 4 and 4 Whiting. But in a rivalry like this, you throw the records out the window. First and 10 from the 30. The motion is Rob Rabel. Rigg off play action, going to fire the right side. Got a man, and it's dropped. Dropped at the 34-yard line. Incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. Good looking throw by Kevin Rigg. Dropped incomplete. Second and 10. Rigg sets his team down at the line of scrimmage. Handoff up the middle. Rob Arredondo has some good yards. Now loses the football. The ball's loose. Who's got it? Who covered the football on the fumble? Oh, Whiting stays. Eric Wynn, the 5'7" junior, covered it after a nice run. Here's the replay.
Recovered by the Oilers.
Got that ball in the wrong hand, Joe, and that's why he lost it. The tackler had an open shot at it. He's running to the right, carrying the ball in his left hand.
Mike Navejas did a great job of stripping it. There's the Whiting's offensive line. Wynn made the fumble recovery. Jim Edge, the center. Bucco, Raycraft, and Callis as they go double tight end. It's a third down and a yard call. Arredondo bounces off a tackle. Still spinning on his feet to the 45, to the 48-yard line. Rob Arredondo. What an athlete. Well, Coach Kane told me a few weeks ago that they could all tell that he was not related to me because he's a quiet individual. What do you think he meant by that, John?
Quiet and laid back. Well, Joe, you know we're at Whiting. We've had the third Amtrak since right before kickoff, so it must be Whiting Field up here on the lakefront. But that guy's a good football player. He needs to carry the ball in the right hand going right. Otherwise, he's pretty sound.
5'8", 165. Rigg over the middle, got a man. Wynn pushed back at the 44-yard line.
Match number 14, Kevin Rigg.
Gain the 7. It's going to be 2nd and 3. Well, it is still Whiting and Clark, John. As you see, Kevin Rigg, the quarterback, Gene Cole of Rabel and Arredondo in the backfield. For the Clark Pioneers, we'll check their defense out after this, Nice throw by Rigg, and a 2nd and short coming up for the Oilers. Three receivers over here in the formation to the left. Arredondo comes this way in motion. They pitch it to him. Rob cuts 45-40. Hit at the 40-yard line. Boy, that was a nice tackle by number 8.
Tackle.
DeMonte Anders stuck his head in there and made a heck of a stop. You know, John, you see the intensity in these two teams already. There's a lot of things that have happened over the last few weeks off the field. This is still the biggest game on the schedule for these two teams.
Yeah, they say the police department in Whiting and North Hammond have been rather busy trying to keep up in addition to the administration. Some of them will be doing some punishment tours for the next few days, I understand.
1st and 10, Oilers. Play action. Rigg rolls right, got a man open. Catch made. Vrabel, 30, driven out of bounds right at the 1st down marker. Another Whiting 1st down there.
Pass by number 14, Kevin Murray, complete.
There's the Clark defense. Doss, Greenleaf, Paby, and Dan Lyman, defensive end. The linebackers for the Pioneers, Scott Grenchik and Eric Chavarria. And the secondary, we saw the nice hit from DeMonte Anders a moment ago. There's the secondary for Coach Phil Mason in his first year, former assistant for Roy Richards at East Chicago. 1st and 10, Whiting. 28-yard line. Rigg, handoff. Rob Arredondo again spins to the 23-yard line before he's brought down.
Those two linebackers you just mentioned are supposed to be the strength of this team. Looking in the local stats in the paper this morning, Joe, they were both in the top 10 in tackles, that being Chavarria, did you pronounce that, and Grenchik, both tough kids. 5'2", Coach Mason is sticking to that 5'2", with the nose guard playing on an angle, which is a fashion in some 5'2s. Ooh.
There's a hit, no gain as Arredondo carried the ball again. Rogelio Escucha was on the last stop, I believe.
And off number 44, Robin Arredondo.
3rd and 5 coming up for Whiting. Impressive drive on their opening series.
A nice looking drive against a good Clark defense also. Clark is about the 2nd in the Lake Athletic Conference defensive stats. They have the 2nd best team defensive average.
3rd and 5. Here's Rigg off play action. Rolls the right side. Fires underneath. Was it a heck of a catch? What's the call? I think Robert G. Colano, incomplete.
We're saying no, but woo.
The Whiting staff wanted the catch. It's going to be 4th down and 5 coming up for the Oilers at the 22. Here's the replay.
Yep.
Hard to tell.
Hit the ground.
Yeah, may have hit the ground. May have been a good call.
Yep.
Had him open for a 1st down. Just
Certainly
a little
did.
underthrown. Fourth down and 5, Whiting. Now, Rigg's going to call a timeout. 7:37 to go. First quarter. Whiting uses a timeout. We'll take a timeout. It's no score. Whiting and Clark early from Whiting High School on PBS 56.
The Channel 56 High School Game of the Week is made possible by
the Orthopedic, Pediatric, and Spine Institute, specializing in treating all aspects of children's orthopedic problems. Dr. Kacharsik, a fellowship-trained children's orthopedic surgeon, specializes in treating congenital birth deformities as well as scoliosis and children's fractures, with offices in Crown Point, Hobart, Dyer, and at the University of Chicago.
The Channel 56 High School Game of the Week is made possible by
Paul Sir Pontiac, 6300 Broadway, Merrillville, Indiana. You're gonna love it at Paul Sir Pontiac.
and by the financial support of viewers like you.
spectator sport brings people out, in day or night, in exotic places, or right in their own backyards. Bird watching.
Yes, there she is.
Oh, beautiful.
Right on cue.
Join noted ornithologist Dick Hutto and backyard naturalist Craig Tubbs, along with their fine feathered friends, for the second season of Birdwatch.
Fourth down and 5 after the timeout. No score, 7:28 to go first quarter. Oh, can you call back-to-back TOs? I guess you can.
Oh, yeah, you can call them, but...
Back-to-back timeouts for Whiting.
Timeout, Oilers.
So the Clark defense may be puzzling Whiting a little bit here.
Yeah, it's...
Kevin Rigg, you see him pointing to himself saying, Coach, that's my fault.
Restrooms are located underneath the grandstand as you enter the stadium. The women's restroom is located under the...
It has been a strange year, John, over here in this area. Should we try to go through this all? Whiting was beaten soundly by Lake Station. Clark, I believe, beat Lake Station for their only win of the season.
That's right.
Gary Roosevelt beat Clark. Whiting beat Gavitt. Gavitt beat Clark.
Strange. Well, that other than Calumet, that bottom half, the Lake Athletic Conference, they kind of took turns beating each other, and then Calumet beat them all.
So hopefully we'll solve something here tonight. 4th and 5. There you go. Called the second timeout. The coach went in and said, just go in there and draw them off sides.
It's a good play on 4th and 5. Well, we're looking at these officials, and before we saw a tough call over there by the headlinesman, Jimmy Vanderlyn, our old friend and veteran official. There he goes at angle, that cocked nose guard. If the viewers want to take a close look, they'll see the nose guard playing at an angle, something commonly done in college football. Referee tonight, Ike Halashak. Umpire Pete Borisenko. Linesman Jim Vanderlyn. Line judge Bill Fratsky. And the side judge Howard Gulger and George Marciniak. Good crew out of the Calumet Association.
1st and 10, reverse rollout on the boot left side. Looking in the end zone, overthrown up for grabs. A little overthrown, incomplete. Good coverage, though, by Clark. Wasn't really a wide open receiver. Steve Avina was back on the coverage and had good coverage for the Pioneers. It'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 17-yard line. No score in the ball game. It's going to be 2nd down and 10. Here's the handoff. Counter play. And no gain, and back a cut loss of a couple by the ball carrier. 31, Rob Velez on the carry.
Handoff number 31, Robert Velez. Tackle made by number 17, Steve Avina.
There's the replay.
That Clark defense has the answer to that counter play. They've tried that twice. Whiting moved the ball nicely to get to this point, and now the Clark defense is stiffening a little bit. They got about a 3rd and 12 here. Wide open.
Incomplete. It's going to be...
Oh, that was complete.
It was complete. I'm tending to some other administrative things up here.
There you go, Rob Vrabel.
Rob Vrabel, 22 on the catch.
Son of the former basketball coach Ron Vrabel, I'm sure. His brother just finished a stint as Gene Cady's senior manager down there in the Boiler basketball program.
It's going to set up a 4th down and 6. Remember, Whiting got the first down moments ago on a penalty. Now they're going to attempt a field goal.
Field goal.
Jose Jimenez, and it's no good. A 30-yard attempt for Whiting, no good. Well, there wasn't much change in the yardage there, but they elected to go for the field goal that time.
It certainly was.
It's no good.
So Clark's on the football field with their offense for the first time tonight.
Well, of course, we've got a single A versus a 4A here tonight, Joe, but that doesn't make any difference in this rivalry.
And they're pretty close in the Sangren ratings. Hillis, Lofay, Mills, and Lyman, the offensive line. I'll tell you what, I was watching Pat Long throw the football in the pregame, and he's got a nice arm.
Yeah, you said he looked good throwing the ball.
Here's the handoff. Across the 23 to the 25-yard line goes the ball carrier.
Well,
DeMonte Yanders on the carry. Here's the replay.
And off to number 8, DeMonte Yanders. Tackle made by number 55.
Some good blocking.
Yeah, good blocking, breaks a couple tackles.
I think what's happening with East Chicago is probably happening a little with Clark now, John. They are finally getting used to the new system, the new coaching staff. Here's the handoff, and there's the hit.
Oh, boy.
Bouncing off a tech. Still on his feet,
still
not
on
ready
his
to go
feet.
down.
Whoa.
4 more Oilers needed to take down the ball carrier. Heck of an effort. Scott Grinchick did not want to go down.
Tackle made by number 31, Robert Velez.
Scott's got to go back to the Hillis' guys. Block a couple of them.
Well, look at
I
this.
got away from 3 of them.
Yeah, he just,
Third down and
guy's a battler.
I got away from 3 of them, but somebody get a helmet on the rest of them. 3rd and 6.
That wishbone look with a split end both ways.
Fake pitch, long, flies to the left side, a little overthrown,
He was
incomplete. Had a man open. Oscar Maddox was breaking open.
I'm not sure what, but something. Got Coach Mason very irate on the far sideline.
There was
have
some
no idea.
contact before the receiver broke
It might
open.
have been a.
There's the
backfield.
backfield. DeMonte Yanders saw him and Scott Grinchick carry on that series. Oilers getting ready to receive the punt. High, boy, great punt.
Not bad.
Hits at the Whiting 45, but does not take a Clark bounce.
No roll.
Steve Avina with the punt. Stops inside Whiting territory at the 43-yard line. So the Oilers will get the football back. 1st and 10.
Well, Joe, our string of great weather games continues here into the final night of the regular season.
We got 5 more to go, John.
Yeah. I said regular season. We're sitting here in 70 degrees. Officials, everybody in shirt sleeves. On the lakefront, it could be a snowstorm up here this time of year.
And you know that it's supposed to get bad next week, but no way we're going to lose our string of great weather. We just got to stay positive.
Absolutely.
Here's the pitch. Arredondo going to run the right side. Cuts it back, 45. Cut down 46-yard line.
DeMonte Yanders, I believe, made that tackle.
Yep. He's
Only a
quick to the
sophomore.
football. Yeah. Both these teams have some young
6'4".
folks playing.
I was going to say, this is a young man's game. Whiting's only playing a couple of seniors that I've noticed. A lot of the key players on both teams.
second down and 8.
So the future's looking up.
2nd and 8. From the 46. Rigg. Oh, he's going to get hit. He's going to go down. Kevin Rigg sacked back at the 39-yard line. And he took a shot.
Number 14.
62, Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Here he comes on the replay. He looks and everybody's covered. There's nothing there. He had a little time. On Sunday, they call that a coverage sack, Joe. He looked and there was nobody to throw it to and did the wise thing.
Senior Russell Wilson on the sack. So the loss back to the 40. It's going to be 3rd down and 14. Play clock is down to 7 already. Whiting's already used 2 timeouts. 3rd and 14 coming up. Clock down to 1. Rigg back to throw. Steps up in the pocket, fires down the middle. It's going to be picked off.
Look out.
Off at the
Look
35.
out. Get a block.
To the 45, and finally taken down inside Whiting territory. 43-yard line. Ricardo Quiros, a sophomore. 36 on the interception. 5'4", 135. It's indeed a small man's game out there, and a young man's game.
A young man's game, and another young man, junior Brian Maloney, made a big play coming over and making that tackle. Because he had a couple blocks and had an angle that would have been down around the 20-yard line. Now some real field position for Clark.
No doubt. Here's inside handoff, Grenchik. Grenchik runs inside the Whiting 40 to the 38-yard line.
Handoff to number 5, Scott Grenchik. Tackle made by number 32, Steve Callis.
Gary Ridgely, of course, John, for so many years, really revived this football program here at Clark.
Gary Ridgely was a fine football coach. I watched him coach because my son was on his staff, so I paid a little more close attention to that, watched a lot of games. And Gary got the maximum out of those Clark kids, and Gary's a candidate for political office here in Hammond.
That's right. Here's the handoff. He's also in a big weightlifting contest,
yeah, well,
right?
Gary's a man for all seasons. But as I drove along the Robertsdale on the street coming over here to the stadium, I saw all those Ridgely signs. And so this area is, of course, I'm sure a strong area for Gary. Gary was a good offensive coach.
Right.
I don't care, how much, he may not have the greatest talent, but the coaches who played against him in the Lake Athletic Conference really respected him, especially as an innovative offensive coach. Good guy, good coach. We wish him well, whether it's politics or weightlifting.
3rd and short. Grenchik. Grenchik moves the pile. Has the first down to the Whiting 30-yard line.
Clark's a little bit bigger, Joe. I looked over the roster before the game, and of course that's the difference between 4A and single A. They had about 16 or 17 kids over 200 versus 6 or 7 for Whiting. And of course a little more mature. And
Grenchik's a strong guy too, 6 feet 200.
They're trying to go right at him. And Whiting is playing its standard 4 front. They've played that defense here for some time.
1st and 10 from the 30.
In that bone, both ends split.
That bone is a lot more spread out than we see the Griffith bone.
Certainly is.
Oh, ran into his own man, did Yanders. Yeah. Ran into the pulling guard, and he's taken down. Loss of a couple on the play. It's going to be 2nd down and 12.
Tackle made by number 52, Fran Raycroft.
He had his man, his offensive lineman, pushed back into the backfield.
That's what it looked like.
Loss of 1 on the play. 2nd down.
I think it was Russell Wilson who got knocked back into the ball carrier, disrupted that play. 2nd and 11. Long, quick pitches.
Sweep.
He's going to get out there and lead the way. Got a nice block downfield. Down at the 20-yard line. Another Clark first down, it looks like. Now, it depends on the spot.
Awfully close, right at the marker. Let's see where Jim Vanderlyn over there, he's got it marked. Here we're going to replay. Let's take a look at this. The end came across and boxed. They got him down, but they dipped inside him and still got the corner. Watch this right here. There you go. See 2 men on the end, and then he still got the corner. Good speed.
Mike Navejas, the ball carrier, he was taken down by Steve Callis.
And it was a first down.
John, why don't more teams do that? Just pitch it, and they put their quarterback in front if he's big and physical and block.
Well, maybe there are not enough old coaches. That's John Robinson at UNLV. They said, gee, that's an old play because he runs that play just as you described. He said, well, old coaches run old plays. But it's a sound fundamental play anytime.
Yanders just a half a yard. You just don't see that. And in high school, you have big physical quarterbacks that could run that play.
Yep. There's no rule in the book that says a quarterback can't block.
We're going to run down to the end of the first quarter after 1. We are scoreless. Whiting nothing, Clark nothing, but the Pioneers are driving. We'll come back with the second right after this on PBS 56.
Successful, that's the problem.
We're going to have to choose our cases carefully.
All we've got to do is take the ones with the least work for the best pay.
I didn't go into this to make money.
You like puzzles, Mrs. Wainthropp. So do I.
She likes tidying people up.
Patricia Rutledge returns in her second season as Hetty Wainthropp.
Wainthropp Detective Agency.
This is a poison pen letter. Why should you pay for an investigation?
Because I'm the prime suspect.
It's not logical, it's psychological. Twisted motives. I'm delighted you're taking it on, but I tell you frankly, you're on a hiding to nothing.
Hetty Wainthropp investigates, next time on Mystery.
She sees these things on TV, but they never seem to come out right.
We've no room here for that kind of behavior.
No score, but the Clark Pioneers driving. They've got it 2nd down and 9 at the 20-yard line. Long turns, rolls right, got a man breaking open in the end zone. Touchdown! Wow, what a nice call off the play action.
Beautiful call. We get a replay, Joe. You can't be much more open in that situation.
Tom Gormley.
Someone miscommunicated back there. I watched their safety. Their free safety was back, and he beat the corner, and the safety didn't get over. We may not be able to see that, but he just ran in that seam. That route is called the flag because years ago there used to be a flag instead of a pylon on that corner. Nice, well-executed play by Clark.
6-0 Clark. I don't think we're going to have the replay, but it was Tom Gormley with the 20-yard touchdown reception. And Clark, after Whiting threatened early in the ball game on the first play of the second quarter, the Clark Pioneers with a 7-0 lead.
And as you said, Joe, he really sold that run. That's the thing that froze that secondary, and that's why he was so open.
That kid could throw the ball. I mean, he was open and he didn't miss him.
I haven't even heard of this guy. You know, their stats as you watch them, you look at a team by this time of the year, we're in game 9 now, is that right?
Right.
You know, you can kind of look and see who's doing what. This young man hasn't had much of a prolific year as a passer. Obviously, I mean, not being critical, Clark's defense has been very inept in most of these games. But you can see this is a solid fundamental team. They're getting better defensively. And,
well, you know, I'm getting the feeling like we're in the old Metropolitan Stadium in Minnesota, John, because remember that's where both teams were on the same sidelines. We got both fans over here, both cheer blocks on the same side of the field.
You really do. And what a beautiful stadium this is. And we were commenting before the plight of the small single-A school. Whiting has no cheerleaders. All the girls in Whiting are on teams. So, you know, there's no one left to cheer. I talked to my great friend Jim Buckley, who's on the school board up here, and he said, hey, every girl here that wants to be on a team is on a team. We have to have every girl playing all the sports, and nobody's left to be cheerleaders.
7-0 Clark. Long to Gormley. 20-yard touchdown. High, nice kick. Going to hit at the 5 and roll in the end zone. Steve Avina. He kicked it over their heads on the opening kickoff, and that time he did it again. It bounces into the end zone. It'll be 1st and 10 for Whiting now as they trail 7-0.
Joe, as we go into playoff football next week, who is Whiting's matchup with?
Oh, you stumped me. I can tell you in a second, though.
Got Kerry Mitchell over here. He's the expert from the Times.
I can tell you in a second. I've got it with me. Yeah, I think you're right.
I believe you're right.
Do play Culver.
Kerry says Culver, and I think he's right. I remember seeing that matchup and thinking, Culver or Culver Military Academy. I believe it's Culver High School.
I know they don't play West Central.
That's for sure.
Whiting a player light, they're going to have to use their 3rd timeout.
Oh, now they're out of them.
Yeah, Whiting will travel to Culver next week. So the Oilers are out of timeouts with 11:53 to go here in the first half.
Clark is in that rough and tough 4A sectional.
You know, it was rough over here a second ago because what was strange was when Clark scored, the roar that went up over here on the home side. You're really not used to that. Fans went crazy over here on the Whiting home side.
For one thing, Clark hasn't scored very much this year.
Clark will play at Hammond High next week to open the playoffs. First and 10 Whiting coming up, 11:53 to go. It's 7-0 Pioneers.
Hammond schools are all matched against each other in these playoffs. I think in the 4A there's Hammond against Hammond, which means at least there'll be 2 Hammond schools